So for this next one, it's topical given the movie that comes out at the end of the week.
No.
But what is the best or most quintessential, so to either, Tim Burton movie? So coming in at number one was Edward Scissorhands
Scissorhands, yeah.
at 60%, which I thought was pretty unsurprising. Most people, it's a very likable movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second place was Batman at 22%. Then, and this was weird, third place was Other. So the blanket category came in third with 11%. Notable inclusions were Sweeney Todd. And then in dead last was Ed Wood at 7%, which I researched and was his highest rated film on both Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes. So I thought it was kind of interesting that it came in last from kind of the general populace, so to speak.
Yeah, I thought Ed Wood was one of those cult classic movies because I don't remember it doing well.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about
it didn't
that one.
well.
Yeah, it did not do well when it first came out.
Yeah, see, that was the key. It didn't do well when it was out, and I can't remember if it was because the movie was poor or there was something happening around the actors in that film at the time that somehow messed it up. But that's why I think it gets good ratings, maybe because it was like a hidden gem, because something was going on in the zeitgeist at the time that movie just didn't hit. It's kind of like we talked about Boys to Men earlier. Color of Love did not hit.
No.
I like Color of Love.
Yeah.
But they put that song out in the wrong year at the wrong time. It came out like in July or something like that. Like everyone was on the summer bangers, and then Color of Love came out. You're like,
well, it didn't get supported by the label either. They spent a bunch of money on the video. The label didn't. Yeah. Babyface was on its way out. It was a Babyface song, so they're trying to sort of cash a lottery ticket on Babyface again. There was a lot of things that were happening with that song, and I liked Color of Love. It wasn't the best song on that album.
It wasn't.
And they've done such a bad job of like picking singles over the last 3 or 4 albums. I think it's been interesting, but it's also like Big Lebowski, where that movie just didn't do well at first. And now if you haven't seen it or don't know a line from it, it's kind of like you're not really interested in film.
Well, and you're not interested in drinking because if you haven't played the Big Lebowski drinking game where you take a shot every time they say the F word, then you haven't ever had a drink.
If you can survive that,
you do that with Chest.
You know what I mean? There's
Chest has got a lot of those in there.
246 F words in Chest.
Oh, he counted them. That's awesome.
Wow. So that's 247 shots. You're not going to survive.
No, you're going to die. Yeah. You're going to die.
Yeah. I think the next cult film that the Coen brothers have is Burn After Reading. It's another movie that didn't do great in the box office, but has cult qualities to it.
It's not that good though.
I don't know if you ever see Brad Pitt like that or Clooney like that.
No, that's fair. I'll give you that.
That was
Malkovich is good too.
And Malkovich is so
He's
good.
really good
The League of
Malkovich.
Idiots. The League of Idiots. I stole that line and I use it every day.
So I got a question about
idiots.
The Tim Burton stuff. So on these polls, like you just gave them 3 options in another category, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what made you pick those 3?
Interesting question, Josh.
Mm-hmm. This is some behind the scenes. So Edward Scissorhands I knew was kind of a favorite. So I kind of pushed that one forward. It's one of the only movies I've really heard my mom talk about a lot. I was like,
it's great.
She really likes. So I pushed that one forward. Batman, I felt like I had to include. And then upon kind of looking at the films, Ed Wood stood out as both critically very popular, but also I thought it was kind of like an interesting kind of sidestep.
Yeah, how do you not put it in there as the best if it's his best critical? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also my dad's favorite. I talked to him a little bit about
nice.
Because he is a big Tim Burton fan. My dad's a really big Tim Burton fan, or at least he was. And so his favorite was Ed Wood. And then once I found out that it was also his highest rated on a couple platforms, I figured I'd throw it in there.
That's interesting. Also, I'm asking because, Sam, I don't want to assume, but I think you're probably younger than us. How old are you?
I'm 18. I'll be 19 in November.
All right. So, guys, this is what I love talking about different age groups, about somebody like Tim Burton, of what's coming out with Beetlejuice, and, You know, some kids have never seen Beetlejuice, and I hear all these stories of parents introducing their kids to Beetlejuice for the first time. That's amazing, you know. But for me, Tim Burton is like from the beginning. You know, Pee-wee's Big Adventure was his first, you know, major movie, and that, you know, I mean, that's just that whole. And that one always gets left out of a lot of conversations because it's probably the least Tim Burton-like of what you know him from, you know, later. But it's also one of the most genuine Tim Burton movies. And also with him and Danny Elfman together, just created this director, you know, someone to do your composer, to do your score. I think that's probably one of my favorite duos in that regard of all time, no matter what movie they do. But especially Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Batman, you know, they're all good. But Batman especially was.
I like Batman Returns.
Batman Returns is. I mean, the original Batman, but yeah, Batman Returns.
Danny DeVito
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. You just threw this out. You brought me back to my childhood, and like that might be my first horror movie I've ever seen.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of the Tim Burton movies that people would not consider horror movies, but with Large Marge, the scene with Large Marge and Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
that freaking gave me nightmares.
They're all horror adjacent for sure. Like, they're like gateway horror movies.
Yeah, he tries to sneak that in. It's like, hey, this is a kids movie, but then we're going to traumatize you. But the first time
that's why I don't watch horror movies like that, because that thing scared the crap out of me, man.
It just comes out of nowhere, and the claymation behind it, it was wonderful.
You got it. Yeah, it freaked the hell out of me.
I was exposed to like Pee-wee's Clubhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I was younger. That's my favorite Tim Burton movie as well. I haven't seen a ton of them. I actually haven't seen Beetlejuice. I'm gonna watch it this week, kind of to prepare to see Beetlejuice. But I wanted to include Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but I thought you know,
Sam knows our audience.
Exactly.
I didn't think they would go for that too much. So.
Hey Sam, after you watch the Beetlejuice movie, see, this takes me back to my childhood as well. You got to watch the cartoon.
Yep,
man, I used to come home from school and
it's all
watch
on
the
Tubi
cartoon.
now.
It is. Speaking of Tubi, it's on Tubi.
Tubi again.
Oh, I'm on it. I love that show.
Tubi playing big.
Didn't